Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Real Hazardous. Today I want to show you my downrigger setup. Downriggers are a really handy tool. Okay, they get your bait deep, but you don't have to fight all that weight. For example, when we're high-speed trolling, we got an inline torpedo sinker, up to maybe 3 or 4 pounds, and that's on the line. So you got to fight that the whole time, the fish and the weight. But a downrigger is neat. It's like an outrigger. It has a clip on it that releases your line when the fish hits. So I can use like 20-pound line or even smaller and still get it really deep. So here's how I rig mine. I got a pin downrigger, a lot of different good types, pin, cannon. But what I do is I use a release clip like this. Same kind you might see on your outrigger. Now some people use one with a pad and it's like a spring and you kind of pinch your line and pinch it in there. I'm not as big of a fan of that because I feel like you have less control. Sometimes it puts too much tension on your line. I've had it when I did use it, I would have times where it would get hit and your bait would get gone, but it would never pop out. It would just jerk your bait off. So I didn't really like that. This is good, it's more precise. You can adjust the tension with this screw and just put your line in it. Now I used to rig mine longer so that the ball would always be in the water, which was good. It being in the water kept it from banging around. But the problem is if you've got new anglers who aren't used to it and their line comes back here, it could either cut their line or cut their downrigger. So lately I've been rigging it like this, really short, so I can bring the weight all the way up. And this won't hit my boat or nothing. It's good. Especially if you have the longer arm, that'll help too. But I use this clip, and then I would take my main line and I would just rig it in the bait. I'd let it maybe, not very far back, maybe 15 feet back. And then what I would do is I would twist it. Don't just run it through the clip, not like an outrigger, you could just run it through. Don't run it through like that and just leave it, okay? Because it's just gonna drag your bait all the way through up to here like that. Instead, what you do is you take your line and you twist it maybe 10 or so times, and then you take that loop that you twisted in like this, you put that loop in, and now your bait is pulling, and it's not gonna pull your bait up. See, it's gonna keep it right where it's supposed to be. And then when a fish does hit it, bam, goes back, straightens out, no big deal, works great. Also use this setup for big redfish in the river. If I want to drop a bait right on the bottom, I'll use the downrigger and the release clip. I typically use it for slow trolling. You can use it going faster, 6, 7, 8 maybe for dolphin or something. But at that point, I usually prefer to just use a planer or a torpedo weight, depending on what I'm doing. Weight-wise, I would recommend anywhere from an 8 to a 12-pound downrigger ball. I've used a variety of them. Generally, 8 does everything you need. Sometimes if we're fishing for redfish, it's a really strong current. That 12 is nice because it gets it down. But an 8 and a 10 would be a little more easier for you to work around the boat, pulling it out. Not as much stress on the downrigger, stuff like that. So I'd probably go with 8 or 10. You can rig it with wire. Some guys use braid or mono. I've done both wire and mono. The plus side to mono is that if a fish runs by your downrigger, your 20-pound line will actually cut the mono. And you say, I don't want to lose a downrigger. Well, if you're in a tournament and you got a big fish on, you'd rather lose a $20 downrigger than, $25,000 fish. But if you don't want that to happen, if you're not really much of a tournament guy, this braid is really strong. This cable is really strong and it'll cut your line. Then you only lose, whatever fish you had on and maybe a 50-cent rig. So not much loss there. All depends on your preference. I'll probably eventually go back to both mono on both. Also, you can get the longer arm, which is nice. It spreads it out more, but it does make it a little further to reach. I've had the short arm just because that's what we got. It kind of came with the boat. So it's been working well. And finally, what's cool is now you can get a mount like this that is a rod holder adapter. So you mount this to a rod holder and you put it all in a rod holder. I would prefer to do that. I mean, the boat came like this, and it's fine, but if I could do it again, I would do a rod holder one, because then I could use this for pulling teasers. You know, I could put these further up the front of the boat, pull some teasers or dredges, a little daisy chain of squid, and I can just put them at the front, move them around however I need them. Gives you a little more versatility. So if you want to do it again, I would suggest do the rod holder mount. But otherwise, that's the setup. This works really good, just the tension, keeps it short, and we've caught a lot of fish doing it this way. If you got any other questions about how to set up your downrigger or anything like that, let me know, and I'll help you out as best we can. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe. If you want to know where you can get any of these clips or downrigger balls, I'll put links in the description, so check them out there. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.